As the world recovers economically from the COVID-19 health crisis, Africa is still lagging behind. According to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, the continent only weighs less than 3% in the world trade, and even worse, only 16% of that share is spent on intra-African trade. In other words, Africa trades much more with the rest of the world than with itself. A paradox which the African Import-Export Bank, Afreximbank, has decided to put an end to. For her, Africa has the means to trade with itself, and Africa must be the world champion when it comes to trade. Thus, Afreximbank has launched 4 major initiatives which have one and the same objective: boost Africa's share in world trade by promoting intra-African trade, Mansa, PAPSS, FEDA, and IATF. First initiative, Mansa. Launched on November 30, 2020, Mansa is a Pan-African client due diligence repository for financial institutions, companies, and short and medium enterprises developed to address the perceived risk of doing business in Africa and with Africans. Mansa is a single source of primary data required for customer controls and checks on African entities, including financial institutions, enterprises in accordance with best practices. The platform also serves to address the main business challenges facing the continent, including the lack of market information, the business price in Africa, and the discovery of African counterparts. For Afreximbank, this is a tool that will improve the way of doing business in Africa.
The platform is very important. Like I said, if that platform is fully adopted, it will go a long way. And we can see the benefits. The benefits are enormous. It will reduce the cost of compliance. It will bring back investors' confidence in the continent. It will go a long way to promote trade, both intra and extra-African trade, even trade finance. It will again help to promote good governance, and it will help to educate the growing or emerging markets in Africa, particularly the SMEs, because you will start having adequate information about the growing markets, the emerging markets in Africa, and that will give credibility to those entities that their information on the Mansa repository, and any subscriber can easily get their information and know where and when and how to do business in Africa.
Second initiative, the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAPSS. It is a centralized payment and settlement infrastructure for intra-African trade and payments. Simply put, the PAPSS facilitates payments and formalizes some of the unrecorded trade due to the prevalence of informal cross-border trade in Africa. It provides an alternative to the current long and expensive correspondence banking relationships to facilitate trade and other economic activities between African countries through a simple, inexpensive, and risk-controlled payment, clearing, and settlement system.
Basically, we want to be able to eliminate delays in transactions. We want to be able to make sure that transactions take place in local currencies, so you're able to originate a transaction in Ghana or in Cote d'Ivoire, in the local CFA, and then the money arrives in Nigeria in Nigerian Naira. By so doing, we actually relieve the pressure that commercial actors like businesses and commercial banks face in trying to source FX and actually be able to boost trade between across the continent. So it's actually an innovation designed to have that transformational impact on trade on the continent.
The benefits of PAPSS for cross-border payments are numerous. Among others, the reduced costs and reduced duration and time variability, the reduction in the liquidity needs of commercial banks, the decrease in central banks' liquidity needs for settlement as well as its own payments, and strengthening central bank oversight of cross-border payment systems. Third initiative, FEDA, the Fund for the Development of Exports in Africa, FEDA. It is an equity investments fund created by Afreximbank to catalyze foreign direct investments, FDI, flows into Africa's trade and export sectors.
Basically, what we are doing is to provide capital that will create impact on the trade side of things. Because if you look at Africa, indeed, you find that we are not trading enough with ourselves. When you compare our trade, intra-regional trade ratio with the rest of the world, we're far apart. So we see ourselves as one of those instruments that the bank is using to drive change in that space.
In this context, the FEDA appears as a kind of guarantee, ensuring that investments are protected by virtue of the immunities that the investors benefit from privileges and tax incentives. To support FEDA's mission, Afreximbank has mobilized $1 billion. By 2024, the bank intends to multiply 4 times this amount in foreign direct investments. In this line, FEDA made its first investment in September 2021. It was a minority stake in Liquid Intelligent Technologies, a Pan-African telecommunications technology group. Fourth Initiative, IATF. The Intra-African Trade Fair has established itself over time as the continent's flagship event dedicated to promoting trade between and by Africans. It all started with the observation that African companies are sorely lacking in information on their sectors of activity, as well as on the related value chains. So, Afreximbank thought of setting up a meeting platform between the different African productive sectors in order to create complementarities.
Reason being that people don't know. There's information asymmetry. And that's what this trade fair seeks to bridge. Lack of access to market information, to trade information, to investment information. It brings together buyers and sellers, investors and investment opportunities. It seeks to integrate the policymakers, governments, the public sector with the private sector.
After 2 editions, that of Cairo in Egypt in 2018 and that of Durban in South Africa in 2021, the results of the Intra-African Trade Fair speak for themselves. In total, more than 3,000 African companies have been linked with concrete financial commitments of over $74 billion. At the same time, more than 109,000 visitors were informed about intra-African trade opportunities. An adventure that should continue in 2022 in Ivory Coast with the 3rd edition. In a disparate continent of 55 countries which trade very little with each other, these Afreximbank initiatives offer Africa a unique opportunity to come through and to exist as an economic entity that matters in the world. It is through these concrete projects that the African Import-Export Bank intends to break down barriers and support the achievement of the objectives of the Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to make Africa the largest market in the world.